Things just keep getting worse for the now infamous IRL streamer known as Clavicular, because he was just charged for the time he live streamed himself mag dumping into an alligator back in March. And that is just like one of multiple legal battles that he's currently facing right now. And despite settling on one of these charges, he's still so far from being in the clear. And honestly, we've been watching this very slow train wreck for a while now, but for each day that goes by, it seems like the train is slowly speeding up towards its inevitable collision. Because at this point, the dude has made his life infinitely harder than what it has to be. Because in addition to being banned on YouTube, he's also still has an ongoing civil lawsuit over alleged battery and fraud, a possible, county battery case now due to the fight allegations. And now, on top of everything, the alleged reckless firearm discharge where he mag dumped into an alligator. We have to say alleged because it hasn't been proven in a court of law, but unfortunately for Clavicular, he did live stream himself doing it. Now, obviously, a lot of people are going, well, the alligator might have not been alive. Apparently, that doesn't matter too much for Florida. And then you also have a bunch of people claiming that he was also firing at a drone in that same stream.
Yeah, Florida, they ass don't even want you to catch a goddamn blizzard. They swear your ass about to blow him up and put him on a goddamn palm tree and all type of shit.
So, that also is illegal, and I don't know where that's going. Regardless, none of it's good, because that's just like way too many charges for one single person to get in, what, less than a year? The dude's essentially been relevant for, again, less than a year. And this is all while he's supposed to be getting sober and also taking better care of himself, because, he also live streamed himself ODing. So maybe a reasonable person would think it might be a good idea to take a little bit of a break, put the camera down for a couple weeks, reset, especially since he says that he struggles to stream and interact socially sober.
But yeah, man, I ain't gonna be doing any more substances for a little while, hopefully for forever.
But what does he do? Absolutely not that, because at this point it seems like Clavicular has no choice but to continue the show.
As you guys know, I'm quite brutal without that. So that's I think I have to figure something else out.
Gee, what?
But I mean, hey, if you ask me, that kind of sounds like the definition of what he calls jester maxing, because the dude is actively destroying his own life for the sake of his own content. But regardless, I mean, I have no doubts his legal fees are really starting to pile up, and if he continues to get in trouble or banned from more social media websites, he could lose potentially all of his income, or at least his main source, which it seems like he already has, because the dude for a while now has essentially had a mandatory hour of spinning slots on his stream.
So we got 1 hour gamble, then we out. Gamble, then.
How you racist, but how you, bro, this is what be tripping me out. How you racist, but you got a big ass black sumo wrestler in the back
spinning
with long Jamaican dreads, but you racist. Gang, y'all gotta stop it, man. Y'all gotta look at this shit.
So we got 1 hour gamble.
That's not a white dude.
Then we out. Gamble, then IRL. All right, that's the difference. That's the difference between
I don't get it.
us and YTG.
But in my last video, we talked about the speculation online that he might have actually lost his stake deal, since he canceled his stake leaderboards in his Discord.
That's like a fake movie pop star. Get your bitch ass on.
But I mean, honestly, I don't know why he would still be gambling on stake on stream if they weren't still paying him, unless he lost like the main aspect of his deal and now he's just running off of affiliates. I don't know how the deals are structured, but I'm doubtful that he lost that deal now. But regardless, I mean, the dude is just so lost for content at this point that he just wants his fans to come up with ideas for him while he gets facials and recycles the very tired format of bringing on random dudes to his live stream to, I guess, dehumanize or speed date OF girls.
Like, what is this? This is like very you do know who you're speaking to right now, innit?
I feel like you don't know who you're speaking to.
I'm speaking to an I know exactly who I'm speaking to. What the are you talking about?
I know, but like,
he knows you? All of them in there have to you or thought about to you at some point. We know who we're talking to.
Hey, don't disrespect me. I've not souped that low.
I feel like we both this into existence. She's here right now, innit? Something had to have happened.
You're much fatter in person.
What?
You're much fatter in person.
Fatter?
Yeah.
Well, gonna charge it back.
So what kind of things are you into?
I don't really want to talk to you after you said that. That was so mean.
But he gets a pass. Like, he's giving you like millions, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Because it seems like the format is like they just bring up a dude, they sit him there next to an OF girl, and the OF girl rejects him. And they're like, why would you reject him? And then they're like, yeah, because he's a normal dude. And then he's like, well, if only if you mogged and you were rich, you would get her. Yeah, he's done that so many times now that even his own viewers and his chat have started to become pretty disenchanted with how short and flat out boring his streams feel. But I guess right now he's probably a little bit more worried about if he's going to be spending time behind bars than his hair or jawline. But even though we covered him like a week ago when it became public knowledge that he had a civil lawsuit brought against him, allegedly for battery and fraud, believe it or not, there's more. Because today we're talking about an even newer legal problem that's arisen for Clav. You know, the one that we all predicted as soon as the clip came out, because everyone saw that was a terrible idea. So obviously, as many people expected, he was officially charged for his unlawful discharge of a firearm at the wildlife sanctuary on March 26th. And if you didn't know, alligator fishing is extremely regulated. And how would I know that? Well, I have a southern grandpa and I do go down to the south quite often to go fishing. I was actually fishing there yesterday. I just flew back home today. But yesterday I was actually out in Lake Eufaula and I caught a few catfish. Look, here's a catfish I caught yesterday. It was kind of cool. Caught it off of a pole on a boat.
We got good cat down here, baby. You know what time it is.
Did we see a whole bunch of alligators? You bet. Did we mess with any alligators? Absolutely not. Because if you want to hunt alligators in Florida, Georgia, or Alabama, it's not easy because you have to do it through a public draw. Yeah. It's highly regulated. And they actually
have all type of bullshit just for you to do it. If not, your ass going straight to jail. That's a fact.
A lottery-based system just to be able.
Your ass barely can even. Your ass bad. Your ass barely can't even be fishing at the wrong spot damn near, cause your ass is damn near get the police called on you and your ass damn near go to jail. That's a fact.
To actually hunt alligators. So according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation, every year about 6,000 alligator harvest permits are issued through
Columbia, South Carolina, my hometown, or anywhere around like Charleston, Orangeburg, Sumter, Florence, Greenville, shit like that. Like if they pull up on you, they just gonna ask you for your fishing license. If you ain't got your fishing license, they either gonna write you a ticket or if they cool enough, they gonna tell you can't fish. You just gotta get on or stop fishing or leave or whatever. But Florida, Georgia, shit like that, boy, your ass, especially Florida. Yeah, for a fishing ass, hunting ass state, your ass will go to jail, boy.
Random drawings and a final leftover face if needed. And I would go out on a limb and say it's pretty safe to say that Clavicular didn't go through one of those lotteries and win that. Now, a lot of people are arguing, oh, but the gator, it could have not been alive. Apparently that doesn't matter too much. So regardless, I guess when the Florida Wildlife Commission tweeted they were actually looking into it, they were really looking into it. Because if you remember in statements made by Clavicular's lawyers, they kind of try to like pass the blame off to the guides he was with, saying they told him it was fine to do it, as if that makes him exempt from any consequences. But the two other men there were also charged in this, so I bet they're very happy that he live streamed this to the world, because I feel like, unfortunately, if he didn't live stream this, no one would have known about it.
Two other people that were with him, including fellow kick streamer Cuban Tarzan, are also being hit with the same charge.
But he also live streamed his very questionable technique with a firearm. I don't know why you would ever close your eyes when firing one, but hey, I was about to be like, whatever floats your boat, but no, please don't do that. But speaking of legalities, under Florida law, illegally discharging a firearm in public can lead to imprisonment of less than 1 year and $1,000 fine. So that's what Clavicular is currently looking at, it seems, since according to court documents, his only current charge is a misdemeanor discharging a firearm in public. And of course, we'll have to wait until the scheduled arraignment at the 20th to find out exactly what the official charges are, like if they decide to add anything after reviewing evidence, like the hours upon hours of content that he live streamed that day. And then I guess we'll also find out if he pleads guilty or not. Something tells me though he's probably gonna fight this, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Dude will probably be fighting this tooth and nail, or veneer and acrylic, as the Looksmaxers might be doing. Anything to save himself from the jail time, because if he goes to jail, that's gonna be really bad for business, because obviously he live streams.
Jay gonna be in there with his buddy, Chud the Stud.
Money. if the live stream is off, he stops making money, especially after the YouTube ban. So anything that keeps him from live streaming is extremely bad for his career. And then, of course, speaking of distractions from live streaming, all of this also comes immediately after he was hit with that civil lawsuit that I covered just a week ago. And that was filed by the female looksmaxer, Alexandra Mendoza, at the end of April. And I'm not going to go through all the details again, but in short, it does not look good for him. Because again, his main problem is he live streamed himself doing half of what she's alleging. So, that's going to be really hard to fight in court. But possibly even more sad than, I guess, the legal stuff for Clavicular is just the private falling outs that have been reportedly happening left and right because of his antics. His own family is now pretty much snubbing him. His PR rep quit. And at this point, a lot of his viewers are starting to get really fed up.
What's say? Clavicular dad leaves Miami after failed intervention.
Pretty much snubbing him. His PR
Clavicular quits working for him days after hospitalization for
rep
overdose.
quit. And at this point, a lot of his viewers are starting to get really fed up with him. So, I mean, he's been forced to, I guess, scrape the bottom of the barrel, but we all know that even the shocking OF speed dating content does get old. Viewers want more, but I'm not sure if he has anything else
That's
to
what he
give right
do.
now.
I never even know what the fuck he did in the first place. I don't know nobody who watched these losers. I don't. I honestly don't.
Because it seems like it's a little bit risky for him to IRL stream right now as he just keeps on getting more and more charges. But we'll find out a whole lot more information on the 20th, so I'll keep tabs on that. And yes, there was some news, and I was in Norway celebrating the 17th of May while it all dropped, so I held this video back for a couple days so I could make this little add-on segment. But the other day, Clavicular and his friend, they went to court and they settled and actually got probation for half a year, which honestly is pretty much the best case scenario for Clavicular. As I even said in my last video on him, the dude has a whole bunch of money to spend on some really good attorneys, and clearly he did so. But the bigger thing everyone's talking about is how the judge apparently looked better than Clavicular. Yeah, that just shows how cooked we are, because like, little did I know, there's this whole, you know, Looksmax rating scale, and his audience is trying to use this Looksmax rating scale to try to counter the online narrative and say that Clavicular, in fact, scores higher on the score than the judge. Yes, this is what we're doing right now, I guess. But the largest problem I have with the whole Looksmaxing community is they're making a lot of things that I would consider self-harm. They're throwing it under the blanket term of Looksmaxing. That's a slippery slope. And what is it all for? To OD live on stream? Like, really?
Right.
Is that what we're doing?
That's
to
what
get
we're doing?
attention from a bunch of women that they
Right.
themselves claim are shallow and vain? Unfortunately,
Fuck
though, that's
outta here.
exactly what these lead influencers in this community are. At the end of the day, I just don't see the risk to reward here. Putting all of these very questionable substances in your body, all in the goal to ascend, or whatever they call it. When have you ascended enough? That's the real question. Because if you are constantly going out of your way to continuously look better, well, the question is, what looks better? Well, that's arbitrary, and that's a slippery slope. That's how you get into the territory of you know, the pump it guys. Actually, they're called the Bogendorf twins. Yeah, that's how you get into this territory. And
Bro, look, nothing, bro. They messed themselves up so bad, bro. They look nothing like this. They look nothing like this years ago, bro. I'm talking about year, like middle age them. I think not middle age, like 20, late 20s them, bro. They look nothing like this, which is so crazy. All because of y'all know who that big H sign. That big 8 sign out there when y'all want to go visit all the time. For those who out there and live out there and from there. Mr. West Coast and Mrs. West Coasters. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All because the people kept telling them what they need to do with their face. And now they look like pure stupid clown. Too stupid. And then they generally probably not just stupid people. They just look like clowns. It's crazy, man.
on top of that, like, what do they do after they ascend? Only chase pleasures? Again, that's a slippery slope, because that's how you OD on stream. But like, what shocked me about the whole narrative around Clavicular overdosing within the whole Looksmaxing community was the whole, oh, well, if he passed away, at least he passed away mogging. What? Excuse me. That would be a tragedy and would absolutely not be worth it whatsoever. I'm just kind of shocked about the whole like idiocracy around all of this, because if Clavicular existed, what, 15 to 20 years ago, he would just be this bizarre character on Jersey Shore. But now he's selling a course and he's actually a role model to the younger generation, which is honestly pretty alarming. But I mean, regardless, Clavicular has been famous for something like 6 months and has already gotten into this much trouble. So the odds are really not in his favor when it comes to not violating that probation. But other than that, I'll see you guys next video. Peace.
Oh shit, what's going on? What happened?